What's up, Hellions, and welcome to another First Impressions video where I play through the first few hours of the game, give my initial thoughts, initial review of what I think so far, and whether or not I'm going to continue playing it or I'm going to put it on the back burner. Today, we're going to be talking about Star Wars Squadrons. Before we jump straight into this first impression, if you like the video today, please hit the like and subscribe button. It's very, very helpful for me as a smaller content creator. We're trying to hit 1,000 subs so we can kind of get this whole ball rolling. I would really appreciate it. Here's the first impression. Star Wars Squadrons is a new Star Wars game coming out of EA where you play in a first-person pilot flight sim / arcadey type experience. So the game first starts out and it tells you you'll be playing both sides. You'll be playing as a pilot in the Empire. You'll be playing as a pilot in the Rebellion, which could be really cool and could actually end in a very cool space, because if you're getting to know both of these characters very intimately and they make you make maybe a tough decision toward the end of the game, that could kind of be a cool setup for a cool ending. But unfortunately, the character you play is not a scripted character that's built specifically for the game. There is a character creation, and I put character creation in quotes because it's so rudimentary character creator, one of the most limited character creators I've ever seen. Basically just a face, a voice, a gender, body type, and that's about it. Which to me, after playing the first 3 hours of the game, there's absolutely no reason why they have you create a character. You never see the character, and sometimes you hear the voice because sometimes they have little catchphrases after they do something cool, but otherwise you're not talking to other characters either. You're like that silent protagonist character creation thing that's just standing there staring at the other people while they talk to you. And that actually kind of is weird, because your character is just standing there staring at these other aliens and crewmates that you have that are talking to you. And a lot of times, I don't know if they did this on purpose, because when you're talking to other people, there are some awkward pauses in the dialogue, and I don't know if they're trying to simulate, like, this is where your character would talk if we had given him a voice, or if it's just some weird thing they put into the game where the characters you're speaking to pause, and then they keep going. There's just these weird, awkward pauses within conversation that make it seem like it's over or like you should leave, but then they start talking again. And you're like, oh, okay, so do I just sit here and wait for the character to finish all of the voice lines? I'm not quite sure what's going on. So before we get too far into the issues that I have with this game, let's just pop right into a little bit of the synopsis. So basically, Alderaan is destroyed in A New Hope, and the beginning of this game basically picks up right where that happened. You play as an Imperial pilot, and you're told that there was an escape ship that got off of Alderaan before it was destroyed, and you need to go and take this convoy out. And so your captain, Captain Javes at the time, escorts you to where this convoy is, and then Double Agent flips on you. Captain Javes' ideals didn't align with the destruction of Alderaan and innocent people, so he turns sides. He basically goes over to the Rebellion, and he helps the freighter and the people from Alderaan get away. And then there's a large time skip, because I actually missed the time skip. I don't know if it said in the game like so many years later or whatever, but Captain Javes, whose name is now Lyndon, which I don't really understand why, but we're using his first name now. Lyndon is now the captain of your crew. This is where the story kind of starts to fall apart for me a little bit, because in the opening, when you're an Imperial pilot, there's a clear goal. These survivors got off of Alderaan, and you need to go kill them, stop them, destroy them. But when there's the time skip and you come back in, you do the first 3-4 missions and you don't really know what's going on. Like, if there is a bigger picture to the campaign, or if the campaign is just a series of missions where you kind of learn the different ships and stuff for the multiplayer, which is totally fine, because a lot of multiplayer games have single players that just kind of service the multiplayer, which is totally cool. I think Titanfall 2 is a good example of that. Titanfall 2 introduced you to all the Titans throughout the story and the campaign, and you were able to kind of learn how they all worked and the advantages and disadvantages of using them. But what Titanfall 2 did is they put it within the context of a really engaging storyline, and basically like this buddy cop scenario where you and your Titan are together the whole time, and your Titan kind of takes on this personality, and it's a great story. In this, it doesn't really seem like it's evolving or going anywhere. Or maybe they're just keeping it from you, and by the end of the story, you'll understand what was happening the entire time you were playing. I would just like to know a little bit early on so that I know what I'm working toward or what our crew is working toward. And maybe you're like, hey, well, you know what? The story is not important because the campaign is only there to service the multiplayer, and that's all we need it to do. We're not looking for this incredibly engaging story in the single player content, which is totally fine. Like I said, the problem is I don't really think I had a whole lot of fun with the actual gameplay element up until this point either. It seems like the gameplay kind of sits in between the arcadey feel of like a flight game, like a Star Fox or something like that, and kind of a sim feel, because although you're flying around in space, you're shooting down pilots and stuff, and how do you really simulate that? You're also given like a lot of stuff to do while you're flying. There are a lot of different things that you can do while you're flying. Like, you can change where you want the majority of the power in your ship to go. You want it to go to shields, you want it to go to speed, you want it to go to your lasers. There's also the ability to adjust where the bulk of your shields are. Are the shields in the back? Are you getting shot from behind? Are you getting shot from the front? You can change those things on the fly. So there's a lot of different things that you have to think about while you're flying to make adjustments so that you don't fail the mission. I think one of the big kind of roadblocks that I had initially was the button layout and the control scheme. It was kind of weird to have your throttle be on one of the sticks. And I kind of get it. They're probably trying to simulate like having a stick and you're moving the throttle forward and backward. But it's weird because you kind of would assume that other functions would be on the stick. Because not only is the speed up and back on the stick, but also whether or not you're going to do like barrel rolls left or right. So it's a weird combination of things to have on a stick, in my opinion. I think they might have been able to find a better way to incorporate that in a less weird sense. It didn't take very long for me to get used to it, but it probably still took about an hour or two for me to really kind of get used to the maneuvering and the flying and the changing in speed and moving all my stuff around and making sure everything's working and the shields and the power and all that stuff. So I think overall, I will be putting this game on the back burner. I don't think I'm going to finish at least the campaign. The campaign seems more geared to get you used to flying different ships and things for multiplayer, and I don't really have much of a desire to play multiplayer. Apparently, there's this weird thing in multiplayer right now where the matchmaking system, if you're just starting out, will match you with people who are like level 18 and have all the ships unlocked and everything maxed out and stuff, and it's just completely unfair. That's what someone was telling me during my stream when I was playing this game. But overall, I feel like the story just doesn't have that hook. It doesn't have that early first couple hours hook that's like, this is what you're working toward, this is what we need to stop, this is what we need to do. And there's no clear path forward for me, for my mind to go. Like, where could this go? I can't hypothesize about an ending because I really don't even know what's going on. We're just going on missions, and each mission is a different thing, and it's hard to know because you really haven't been told what the bigger picture is here. I do think that flying ships around in space and the way that they have put together the gameplay once you get used to it is really fun. So with all that being said, I have had fun playing it. I don't think it's a bad game. I just think it's not really for me. So let me know in the comments below, are you enjoying Star Wars Squadrons, or are you feeling it a little underwhelming like me? Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Hit the like and subscribe button, and I really appreciate you coming by and watching the video. We'll see you on the next one.